I didn't start this channel to gain subscribers. I started it because no one cared around me about sim racing. Not my friends, not my family, no one. 15,000 people later, I realized it's just not building a channel, I was building a place for people that think like me. So before we move forward, I want to tell you how we got here and why this journey means a hell of a lot more than just numbers. I've played racing games since the dawn of racing games. As a kid, Formula 1, GT cars, basically everything that made noise. And I always had a passion for gaming in general. After my father died when I was 9, everything changed. There wasn't any money left to keep a decent PC or console, so I had to drop racing games for almost 6 to 8 years. We lived in poverty. Looking back at it now, especially what I see what sim racing equipment cost, I get it. There was no chance for me to have any gear like this, nor it was existing back then. It was also not possible. And I'm not even talking about the mental challenges you face in poverty and not having a father. So I worked my ass off in my teenage years, and when I got older, I became a stainless steel welder and got pretty good at it. And even though that job had nothing to do with racing, it built something important: my discipline, persistence, and grit. So when I look back at it now, it somehow makes perfect sense we ended up here. But to explain where we are and how to move forward, we need to look back on how this channel started. This video is not gonna give you the best lap time or the perfect hack, but the deeper story behind the channel, what I am doing, and why sim racing is such a great passion. I started real sim racing about 4 or 5 years ago. The moment I put on my VR headset for the first time, and to this day, if it wasn't for VR, we wouldn't be here. I tried screen racing for a long time, but I just don't and won't like it. People argue about pace, clarity, and the downsides of VR. I don't care about that. I race in VR. I like it like this. VR made me curious, and when my curiosity grows, my obsession grows. I'm a natural born ADHD, ADD mind. I struggle to listen to authority or follow rules blindly. I like to crave my own path and build my own understanding. And when I get obsessed, people often call me extreme. But I believe that pure enjoyment is found in the obsession. Progress lives there too, right? If you do things average, you'll get average results. And that's fine for some, but not for me. So when I was racing ACC, when I started out, got my VR headset a little bit optimized for ACC, I learned about car setups. After buying a few from established brands, I instantly went faster on track, but some cars just felt wrong. And then ACC released a suspension update, and every setup on the market became useless. The company I relied on couldn't rebuild them fast enough, so I had to learn it myself. And that took ages. Nor did I understand setup, nor did I know what to change. It was a mess. Testing, failing, trying again, and the setup information I found online was vague. Things like change anti-roll bar for understeer or change this for oversteer, and everyone said you really need to know what you're doing when you're changing the setup, yet nobody explained how. There I was, with ACC's new suspension model, driving cars that were hard to handle, and after months of struggling, I realized the companies that build the setups that I just didn't like them anymore. I don't like the cars or how they were set up. Yes, they were fast, but I would lose control. This was also when something else changed. I started learning about health, business, happiness, and relationships, and all of this I learned on YouTube. And it drastically improved my life in every area. How to think, how to live, how to be a better husband and a better father. Sim racing content was out there, sure, but the setup theory side it was just weak, and it was like very much hidden in live streams and like really hard videos to follow. Some channels tried to explain it, but they didn't delve down the marketing or presentation. Great knowledge, but very boring to watch. So 2.5 years ago, I started building my first video. Never in my life was I so scared to do something, putting on a camera and telling a story or starting to build a video. 4 views, 1 like. Only then did I realize how hard YouTube creation actually is. But I had a mission. I had to find my younger self on YouTube, someone who's willing to listen what I have learned, and I had to share. Because the truth is, my friends, family, neighbors, no one cared about sim racing, and even fewer cared about setups. So I had to share it on YouTube. At some point, one video took off. My ACC baseline setup video. This is the place to be, mate. It showed the foundation I used for my cars, and it became a great starting point for others. That video blew up, and at the time of recording it's like 150,000 views, which is still blows my mind. Virality is strange, you want it, but when it happens you get exposed to new problems. So I started creating free setups, not alien ones, but the setups for normal people like you and me. Because at the time, YouTube was full of alien lap times and like shopping car setups that were impossible to drive. And the safe setups from the game presets were like really slow. And I hated that. So I created a hierarchy of setup levels for the Aston Martin. A structured way to pick a skill level, like on how good of a driver you are, and separating them into different levels. So when you're skilled, you take that aggressive car setup, and when you're really slow and or like don't have refined input, you can pick a level 1, and then everyone can enjoy sim racing again with the hierarchy of levels. And people seem to enjoy this. And at some point they started sending me direct messages about, can you make this for this car? Can you make it for that car? Arnout, I will pay you to make this for the Ferrari or for another track or car. And that moment I realized this could be something I really want to do and keep doing. As more people bought setups, sales grew, subscribers followed. The setups that we built at this point on ACC started to get like a predictable income, but it came at a cost. I was still doing my welding job for 40 hours a week. I would wake up 5 AM to write scripts. After work, I would play with the kids, put them to bed at 7:30, and then I'll have like 2 or 3 hours left to build content and setups. Sim racing never left my mind. How can I create a better car? How to explain it better in a video? Or what would be most valuable for the community? And of course, I failed plenty of times. It's been hard, especially when the community proves you wrong. But learning from those moments, even when it hurted a lot, that's where the growth happens. And I'm forever grateful for this. So my mindset is pretty simple. I hold strong opinions, but I hold them loosely. I'll defend my idea, but someone gives me a better one, I'll drop mine in a heartbeat. And this is why my videos are sometimes polarizing. They are really in a certain way, because if you think I am wrong, you'll come up with a comment. So I'll try to keep videos polarizing, so whenever I'm wrong about stuff, I can correct myself. This is a journey, you know? I'll keep learning. As setup sales kept growing, I want to build something bigger, a knowledge system that explained everything I've learned about the setup screen. You can find hundreds of setup guides online, but no one explained a hierarchy of things to practice. So I started creating the art of car setups. Not a dry technical guide full of definitions, but a practical and visual understanding that helps you master setup knowledge 10 times faster than I did. At this point, I was fed up with welding. Because this, the content, the setups, the teaching was what really mattered to me. But 30 sales a month couldn't support the family. And to survive on YouTube alone, you need like 100k subscribers, right? So I realized something important. I need a product. Not just any product, but a universal one. And that's the beauty of the free markets. If it's good, people buy. Now here we are. The art of car setups is ready, and 50 people have already bought it. Together with setup packs, Patreon, channel memberships, it's finally starting to become sustainable. It means I can now dedicate my full time on sim racing, building, thinking, and finding ways to make the community better. But I'm still learning, always. Right now, I'm part of the Project Motor Racing Developer Program. I'm trying to learn more directly from the people who build these simulators to understand physics and engineering behind them. For the future, I want to create even better explanations, not just about setups, but about drivers. Why are some drivers so fast while others struggle? Everyone talks about trail braking, finding lap time, but I'm searching for something deeper. A way to make learning and improving 10 times faster than it is today. And that project will be called The Art of Lap Time. Now, to everyone who supported me this far, whenever you bought The Art of Car Setups or one of my setup packs, or joined my Patreon, or simply watched and liked the video, I can't thank you enough. Even though this is now my full-time job. Even though this is now my full-time job, it still feels like I'm just getting started. The Art of Car Setups is in the description. Check it out if you want to go deeper into car setups and car setup mastery. Thanks for watching. This video was created for the 15k subscribers, so you get an idea where I'm coming from, what I'm doing. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support.